Hey, Lance.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you this morning?
I'm good.
Afternoon.
Yeah. I don't know. You know why I'm telling you this? I chipped like the bottom of my tooth last night eating pizza, so now I'm just like, I think I think I'm just like getting old and falling apart or something. I don't know.
Don't know. Was there like a seed inside of the olive or something?
I have no idea. No, it was like pepperoni, and it's something where you wouldn't think that you'd think you'd be pretty safe, but
That's so weird. I'm sorry. That happened to me recently. Well, not that recently. Like a year ago, I was doing a movie, and I was eating one of those granola bars that's like the oat one that's real crunchy.
Yeah.
They're like green, and my whole freaking front tooth chipped in half.
No way.
I mean, yes. And like literally had to be rushed off to like an emergency dentist. I couldn't believe it.
Kind of like that Jim Carrey Dumb and Dumber tooth.
Totally. I was so embarrassed. I was like, well, that's how I felt. I'm like, well, I'm falling apart. I'm sorry.
So I guess let's talk about the movie. So I don't know what it is, but man, I love these kind of revenge movies.
Right? Yeah. Yep. It's a good one. It reminds me of like kind of like 90s movies or something, or like early 2000s.
Yeah, exactly. It totally reminded me of that. Yeah. Like, how did you get involved in the film? I mean, are you a fan of these kind of films?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I love it. I got involved with the film just, living out in the desert and, meeting Christian through a friend of a friend. My trainer actually out here knows Christian from growing up and just said, yeah, my friend has a script and was wondering if you'd read it. And I'm like, absolutely. We were kind of like, we were pretty much in the pandemic still. And we had to wait a little while before we could actually film, but I read it and was like, it was a different role for me. I related a lot to it because I have an older brother and I could understand like her loyalty and her savageness just to kind of keep the peace and just having her brother's back. I loved I loved the father, saving the daughter and then the corruption of just all the corruption within too. And of course, when I heard Richard Dreyfuss, I was like, what? So yeah, just all kinds of reasons to say yes.
Yeah, this is kind of a different role for you. You're like a pretty badass, like mama bird in the film.
Yeah, so yeah, she's Christian would like to say when he offered it, like, twisted Susie homemaker that just really wants peace in her life, but all the while has this brother and would literally do anything for him. And so she turns out to be pretty savage, as some people are when they're just, having someone's back. It will do anything. So yeah, she's it was a lot of fun.
With this role, and I guess kind of every other role, I'm an actor too, so I love asking these questions. Like, how do you prepare for it? Do you like keep notebooks and things like that, and like write in the corner the script and things? Like, what do you do?
This particular film, sometimes it's wild because sometimes when there's not like a ton of dialogue and a lot of action, that's when I get most nervous. And sometimes I'm more comfortable with a lot of dialogue. You can really kind of like sit into it and just, make it your own. And if you have the time and the director has the vision, you really have a lot of fun with that. And so sometimes this is where that saying comes in. There's no small parts, just small actors. I don't know if you've heard that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, can you explain that? Because this is hard. But, for this particular one, just, a lot of backstory, that I write on my own. Backstory about that, learning all about like security firms and just sort of like what does somebody have to, what kind of training do they have, what kind of credentials do they have to be able to be licensed and verified as a, security firm. And so they were just a little bit more elite than your everyday mom and pop kind of place. So just studying all about the ins and outs of that, which already I love anything to do with like security and any type of stuff like that. And then, they're all twisted in with the government and the casinos, which is a big deal around here. A lot of Native American land that we live on. So just all that stuff, all the inner workings of all that, all the deals that go down, back deals that go down that no one knows about. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool to prepare for it.
And you mentioned Richard Dreyfuss. Man, I loved him. I remember seeing him in American Graffiti, like when I was, it was on HBO like a million times or something like that. And Jaws. What was it like working with him?
Oh my! I grew up watching Jaws. I literally won't go in the ocean because of it. I used to think Jaws was in my swimming pool and the toilet. I was just, I don't know. It was to be around him, the legend. It was really cool. I felt very privileged, and he's a force. He has a lot to say, a lot of stories, and when something like that comes around, you listen and you learn. And so I always gloat in those types of moments where I can just learn from the greatest and be around that. There's a reason, there's a reason why someone can maintain a career for that long and do all types of movies too. Think about it. He's done all different types of parts. But yeah, he was very, very sensational.
Well, speaking of maintaining a career for a long time, you've been acting for quite a while yourself, and keeping up with it. Can't recall looking at your sort of timeline, any sort of moment where you've been had a lull in parts,
Yeah. Oh wow. Thank you. I'm very grateful to be a working actor. I'm very grateful to be, I guess, a character actor, which took a long time for me to accept, because I've done this all through my 20s, my 30s, and now I'm into my 40s. And, there was a time that I so wanted to play other roles or be seen differently, but then I understood that, it's a team, it's our film, and I love to elevate the leads, and I know my place and I love it. There's obviously dreams that I have and aspirations, and I just hope one day I get the opportunity again because there's nothing greater than playing, creating that arc, and how it is since you're an actor, that the fulfillingness of starting one place and ending somewhere else and kind of knowing where you're going and stumbling along the way just like any character or human would. Just the craft of acting is so beautiful, and it's really just the greatest job on the planet if you're working. Yeah. If you're not, it's quite painful.
I know that pain too.
I'm sure. We all do, yeah. By the way.
Are you the kind of actor who it helps so much more if you get the proper sort of outfit wardrobe?
Yeah, I love to go into costume. Absolutely. I love, changing up my looks, and it's just fun. You just get transcended even more. If the writing should do that already, but just that extra layer, and then it's just all the departments work together to create a story, and I love that. I love that so much.
I've only got you for a couple more minutes, so I just want to ask you a couple more questions about acting. So what was the first professional acting job that you had? Your job as a SAG actor?
As a SAG actor, it's funny you asked that because I was a background actor, and I don't know if you know this, but if you're trying to earn your SAG card, you have to get 3 background jobs to where you get a union voucher. Okay, yeah. So that took almost 2 years to get a union voucher because I was non-union, and then when I needed my third one, I got Taft Hartlead, and Taft Hartlead is when you all of a sudden get a line, you get chosen to speak, and I'm like, are you kidding me? But I was so happy, but I was it's just Murphy's Law. So that was in a movie called Speedway Junkie, and that was cool. That was a Gus Van Sant movie. I just played, I was a raver, and I got a couple lines. And then after that, who was it? What was I in? Oh, I was in The Practice. I got a guest starring role.
Nice.
And that was a show that was out, quite some time ago. But yeah, that was a pretty special moment. It was Lara Flynn Boyle and Dylan McDermott. And I was, working at the Marissa's Burrito Adventure, and I thought I was rich, and I quit my job, and then I realized, then I got my check, and it was like, there was nothing in there, and I was like, hey, because I didn't really understand about 10% for agents, 10% for manager, and a bunch for taxes. That was right back. Then I got a job at Johnny Rock, what's it called? Johnny Rockets? Yeah, Johnny Rockets or whatever. Yeah. I was always working, and I started from the ground up,
So at what point did you finally quit your day job?
I think it got to the... Yeah. Well, listen, I always loved to work. That took me a minute to actually quit that, but it was when I did a lot of music, too. So it was when... You know what it was? I got hired for a movie to play a dancer because I grew up doing ballet, and then they let me go. They let me go after I was already, did my fittings and rehearsals because they wanted to hire the gals from Roswell, which was a huge show at the time. It wasn't personal, it's just they got more money in the budget, but it was my first experience being fired, if you will, and it was a tough lesson to learn at a young age, but it really put the fire in me. Like, if it wasn't already burning, it was burning, I was like, oh yeah. So, sometimes it's not the most fair business, but it's worth it, hopefully. It's very hard, though. It's a hard one.
And then my last question is, what's been your worst audition?
Oh, my goodness. Which one? My worst audition. Let me think really quickly. Hey, man, I'm trying to think right now. It was probably when I had to pretend like I was on a green screen in an office building with 4 white walls, and I had to, dodge, like, it was either like dinosaurs or, things flying and coming at me. I just felt so stupid. I think I was like, I'm so sorry. They're like, yeah, you can go. Don't call us, we'll call you. And I was like, oh, and then I remember one time my manager got a call, like, she's very green. She needs a lot more practice. And I'm like, what? And that was when I went in for Girl Interrupted, way back in the day. And that was tough, but yeah, we're always learning.
That's true. Hey, Taryn, thanks so much for taking the time. I love talking to you. I think you're great, by the way.
Thank you, and I wish you all the best with your acting, and thank you for really understanding actors. That means a lot to me.